SABER is a character who can be considered extremely consistent when it comes to delivering damage output. I would even say she's the only truly worthwhile character to pull in version 3.4. On top of that, since she is a collaboration character between Honkai Star Rail and Fate Stay Night, chances are she won't be getting a rerun banner. But who can really predict the future, right? So in this video, I will help you prepare all of her materials and go over some potential builds that work well for her, starting from relics and planar ornaments, alternative lightcon options beside her signature one, and even team synergy recommendations. But before we begin, I would really appreciate it if you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel as well. Alright, let's get this video started. SABER is a 5-star limited character with a wind element and follows the path of destruction. She will be a DPS who relies on all types of attacks, starting from her ultimate, which has a very high energy cost, basic attack that can be enhanced, and a skill whose multiplier can continuously increase along with the consumption of a stack that plays a quite important role, which we will discuss later. As for her base stats, she has an attack of 602 and a speed of 101. Then for the bonus stats that she can obtain as her level increases are wind damage, crit rate, and HP. These are SABER's materials that you can prepare, starting from materials for level up to her talents. It's worth noting that all of this can already be pre-farmed from now, from the Stagnant Shadow to the weekly boss material. Feel free to screenshot this if you haven't, or you can find her materials on literally any websites. Hope this helps and happy farming! Now let's do a brief kit of SABER. For her talent, when SABER enters the battle, she will gain one stack called Core Resonance. Then these stacks can also be gained through other methods. Namely, one of her teammates activates their ultimate, granting her 3 Core Resonance stacks, and also increase SABER's damage by 60% for 2 turns. When SABER manages to consume at least 1 Core Resonance, she will recover 8 fixed energy. So how does SABER consume the stacks? The answer lies in the description of her skill. After SABER uses her skill, she will attack the enemy while dealing wind damage of 150% to the main target and 75% to the adjacent enemy. If at this time SABER has Core Resonance and consuming the stack can fill her ultimate gauge to full, then the damage multiplier of that skill will increase by 14% for each stack she consumes. If the ultimate gets fully charged, then she will consume all of her Core Resonance stacks, but if not, she will be compensated with 3 Core Resonance stacks instead. If SABER activates her ultimate, which is her main source of damage, then SABER will deal wind damage equal to 280% of her attack to all enemies. Then she will also deal additional damage of 110% of her attack to one random enemy. However, this attack will occur 10 times, so in a single target scenario, this ultimate is quite deadly. So it actually makes sense why SABER's kit includes energy regen, after knowing how high energy cost is. But the effect of her ultimate doesn't stop there. Once it's used, SABER will gain Release the Golden Scepter, which is an enhancement for her basic attack. Before using her ultimate, there's actually nothing special about her basic attack. She will only attack one enemy while dealing damage equal to 100% of her attack. However, when she obtains Release the Golden Scepter or Enhanced Basic Attack, her attack will become AoE and also deal damage to all enemies equal to 150% of her attack. She will also instantly gain 2 Core Resonance stacks after obtaining Release the Golden Scepter. Another effect is that when there are 2 or 1 enemies on the battlefield, this enhanced basic attack will deal additional wind damage of 150% or 220% to all enemies. But her kit actually doesn't stop there. We still have her traces and technique that we haven't discussed yet, so don't go anywhere. In SABER's character building, it won't be difficult for players thanks to an additional 20% crit rate from her first trace. After that, when SABER first enters battle or after using her enhanced basic attack, this character will gain a buff called Mana Burst. When SABER has this buff along with Core Resonance, and her skill can activate her ultimate and consume all the resonance stacks, then Mana Burst will immediately be consumed and removed, causing its effect to restore 1 skill point for the team and let her immediately to take action. So yeah, SABER is a type of front-loaded DPS. If you notice, several parts of SABER's kit allow her energy to be filled up right away, even though it has a high cost. But would it be wasted if this keeps happening even though her ultimate was already full? Don't worry, because the energy won't be entirely wasted thanks to her second trace. SABER can store up to 120 excess energy. After SABER uses her ultimate, the excess stored energy will disappear, but immediately be returned in the same amount. And if the battle has just started and her energy is below 60%, then SABER will immediately recover energy to 60%. Aside from critical rate, SABER is also quite advantageous in character building once you unlock her third trace, where with every skill used, she will gain additional 50% crit damage that lasts for 2 turns. And for every Core Resonance she has, she will gain an extra 4% crit damage, stacking up to 8 times. Meanwhile, for her technique, upon entering battle, Saber will receive a 35% attack increase for 2 turns, and instantly gain 2 core resonance stacks. So it seems that Saber can very easily activate or even spam her ultimate, which makes her a DPS with very high front-loading damage. For those of you who plan to make a vertical investment in Saber, let's discuss her eidolons together. For her first eidolon, Saber will receive a 60% increase to her ultimate damage. After Saber uses a basic attack or a skill, she will also gain 1 additional core resonance stack. Well, more damage multiplier to her ult and also more ultimate spamming, I guess. Meanwhile, for her second eidolon, for every core resonance she has, Saber's damage dealt will ignore 1% of the enemy's defense, and this can stack up to 15 times. This eidolon also increases the skill multiplier of her skill even further. Eidolon 4 gives her increase in wind resistance penetration, which increases further the more often she uses her ultimate. Then for her final eidolon, the wind resistance penetration from Saber's ultimate increases by 20%. The cap for excess energy from her trace is now changed to 200, and when entering the battle for the first time, Saber will instantly generate 300 fixed energy. This effect can be triggered again for every 3 ultimates used. So if you look at the increase in damage output, of course Eidolon 6 gives a very significant change. However, in terms of value, I think the final Eidolon is not very F2P friendly, or even for some of you who are small spenders. That's why I think her best Eidolon is the second one. Considering this Eidolon allows Saber damage to ignore part of the enemy's defense and also boosts her skill multiplier. And to be honest, it's not that pricey when compared to her final one. Then in deciding whether you should go for E0S1 or E1S0, it's better to go for her signature Lightcon first. The damage percentage difference is also quite significant between her first eidolon and the signature. Moreover, the chance to obtain the signature is easier, considering the rate is 25/75. So I guess signature wins this time. Enough with her eidolons, now what about her builds? There are several options you can use for her relics, one of which is Wave Strider. This relic can give Saber up to 48% attack increase, with the condition that she must be the target of a teammate's skill or ultimate. This relic will have a very consistent effect if you use a certain kind of team comp, for example, one that includes Sunday, Tingyun, and one Sustain. This is because both Sunday and Tingyun's kit only target one ally with their buffs. However, Saber's team composition is not limited to just these 2 characters, it's quite broad. Therefore, to make her more flexible, relics like Scholar can also be used. She also benefits from the skill and ultimate damage boost of this relic. The difference is only around 6%, but keep in mind this is because Wave Strider is still advantaged by having Sunday or Tingyun, which ensures the buff is always active. In addition, for planar options, I think Salsoto is also the right choice. It not only provides extra crit rate, but this planar can also increase Saber's ultimate damage. Meanwhile, another viable option is Surtilan Arena, but keep in mind that Saber's crit rate needs to reach 70% in order to activate its passive. So as a safe option, I think Sunday is needed if you want to use this planar. Glamot can also be used since it provides additional damage and attack, although Saber speed must reach 135 as one of the requirements for its buff to activate. But despite all of that, I think Salsoto still stands out and is the best planar, even though the damage difference is not that far from the other planars. Just pick the one with the best substats and you are good to go. For the main stat on her body piece, you really just need to adjust it based on the stat you need. You can either go with crit rate or crit damage. Same goes for the boots. You can use speed or even attack if needed. As for the orb, it can either be attack or wind damage boost. Since the difference between the two is only around 1%, I think you should go with the one that has the best substat. Meanwhile, if you are using her signature light cone, which gives a very large amount of attack, you can use energy regen on her robe. The best Lightcon option is her signature, and this LC is even better than her Eidolon 1. However, you can also use on the fall of the Aeon if you don't plan to pull for her signature. The difference is only around 6%, but what makes the Aeon LC superior is that literally every player can get it easily, fully refined. And here are some other LC options you can use as reference. Note that I'm not some theory crafter, so if you think I made mistakes here, feel free to leave corrections in the comments below. After knowing that Saber is a character with a very high max energy and that her ultimate is one of her biggest damage sources, it can be said that Sunday and Huohuo are crucial members in forming a premium Saber team. Basically, Saber is a front-loaded damage unit, but with the help of Sunday who can provide action advance, Saber's role will shine even more, plus the added crit damage, crit rate, and even energy regen. The same goes for Huohuo, who can act as sustain while also providing an attack buff and energy regen for all team members. But aside from that, a more flexible sustain option, and one I'm sure everyone has, is Gallagher. I think Robin can also still synergize with Saber, considering Saber benefits from multiple action forwarding units, which helps her generate her ultimate faster. Other than Robin, other Harmony units like 3B or Tingyun can also still synergize well with Saber. So that's more or less all the preferred materials and character building for Saber's kit. What do you all think? Is Saber strong enough for the current state of the game, or is it the opposite? Try sharing your thoughts in the comment section below. If you like this video, please help support the channel by hitting the like button and share this video with your friends. And I will see you guys in my next one.